We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas, and we have wonderful guests. And today I have a very popular guest, Jenny Lee, and today she's going to tell you what she knows about the Emerald Tablets and also any recent predictions of the crazy world we're living in and going through right now. But it's historical. It is what some like to call biblical. I just think it's spectacular, is another way of putting it. So let me bring Jenny on. Welcome, Jenny.
Hey, how are you?
I'm better. I needed a little time off, and I'm
Oh my
better.
gosh. Didn't we all on certain things? It just feels like it was coming at us 110 miles an hour, right? The energy.
Yes, and I just was just exhausted. Even though I slept all night, you know what I mean? Or last night, though, I was having trouble falling asleep. But anyway.
Well, Spirit said, that it's going to be bad to where you don't want to get out of bed or you don't want to do anything. But the thing is, too, I have to tell you, and this is the thing that people have noticed in the groups that I'm in and stuff like that. It's just hard to be around anybody. And that's the problem, being around certain energies. It's just too hard. Like I said, we're just at a point that we need to balance our own. And if we take anybody's on that's, in a negative process or in a lower process, it's going to just wipe you out. That's the problem.
Ah, okay.
Because we can't be around it, and then we have to really
transmute it.
Well, and then it's a harder time to recoup from it. The recuperation from it. I can't imagine, like I said, right now, where I was living in a year earlier, and dealing with this energy, because I would have threw up every day because I can't be around certain energy. And then it just, you go outside, you feel it in the air, even if the sun is out, there's a dryness. It's not a clear energy that flows, okay? Mm-hmm. That's the problem that people are feeling. They're feeling this extra irritation because it's invading your space. It is invading that space. And that's why I was telling people to use native music right now to clear your space for that. It's the only thing that Spirit's telling me it's working. Native music. Drumming, any
flute,
frequencies, flutes, it doesn't matter. It has to go to the native process because they're about the protection and the barrier right now. Awesome. And so the thing is and this is the thing too, and several people, you ask, like people in my group or people on your show, you ask them, when you go to the store, it's a debate. Like, what time should I go to the store? What time's less people around in the store?
Early in the morning.
Yes, exactly. Because we're just like, so we're literally saying, yeah, we'll start first before we have to deal around that energy. It is so bad. It's so bad. And that alone is creating the divide of the 3D and the 5D. It's bad. Wow. And so that's
are you saying the energies are part 3D and part 5D and they're kind of jumbled together? Am I understanding you right?
We cannot develop or create around the 3D conscience no more. We can't lower ourselves to it. We don't want to be around it. It's a chalkboard situation every time we're around them. But this is the thing too.
It's exhausting.
What I'm hearing too with Spirit is if you haven't healed from any of your process that you need to heal from, they're pushing you back on like, you got to heal from this. You got to balance yourself. You can't take any carnage with you into the 5D. And they're forcing us to heal from this stuff now. They're forcing us to make decisions that we're delaying on making decisions. And we're like, and it's coming at us 110 miles an hour. And for myself, it's just, I want nature. I want to be with my dogs. You know,
I go out there all the time. Yeah, unconditional love.
But that is it. I don't need any extra stimulation on anything. So, and it's not something like where you have a choice. It's a force that says you have to get this done. People are ignoring it and they're not listening to it clearly, but they're going to have to. It's coming to hit a dead end wall.
What do you think? The bifurcation would make it easier, Tim Potter says. What do you think?
Probably.
It's already happening, isn't it?
Yeah, big time. So with that, I mean, don't try to go against the resistance when you're feeling uncomfortable about it, nauseated about it. If something tells you not to go somewhere, don't go. Okay. It's that intuitive energy is really, putting its force onto you to make, instead of just delaying the decisions, it's like you're either going to feel good about doing something or bad about doing it now. And so you have to use that energy, and you have to use discernment on everything. Wow. And that's why it's hard to be in public right now.
I've never
You're seeing even on holidays and people that in public places now, they're not coming together the way they used to. They're not, the desire of doing these events and all this stuff is not there, because that world of pacifying and making sure that those appease us in those events and those physical items are no longer working. We're at a process. It's about healing the soul, making the soul feel better. What appeases the soul? None of the Hollywood props are working anymore.
What heals the soul?
Trueness and honesty and balance and peace.
Yes. Peace. Peace. That's what you get out in nature. There's a...
Right. Well, it depends on how it feels these days. And that's the thing, even with at night, I used to have this energy that would tell me just go outside and connect with the moon or whatever. And I'm not hearing that from them. When I go out at night, it's all cloudy. It's frustrating. You're not feeling that energy. So the thing is our world has changed, and we're having a problem admitting that it's completely not the same.
Exactly. Yes. I'm glad to hear that, because that's what I felt, and I don't have any explanation for it. I'm going, well, why do I feel this way?
Right. So, and that's the thing that's changing. It's changed. So it feels uncomfortable to go through these changes. Like, I don't know how, like, I'm not a person that can drive long distance or anything like that because I can only deal with the energy for a certain process. Like after an hour and a half or 2 hours, I'm like, that's it. I'm done. You know, going to the mall right now would be excruciating for me. I couldn't do it. Sitting I haven't been in a movie in probably a year and a half. I mean, I'm just talking about these events that we usually go to that
you know what? I have to tell you, I just went to one recently and it was a disappointment. It wasn't good. It wasn't very good. I mean, it was about the Planet of the Apes. I thought it might be funny, you know, but it wasn't good. It's like there isn't anything out there that's good to speak of. There might be something from Angel Studios. I don't know, because they're trying to do uplifting,
right,
5D type material, and they have one out called After Death, and I might like to see that.
Right.
But other than that, as far as regular quote unquote Hollywood type movies, there's nothing out there, and most of the actors and actresses are gone, and we know why.
Right. So the whole process of that is we're not attached to this world anymore. The fact that people are not attached to this world, and it has to get to that point that you're accepting that.
And that's a good thing. Why would you want to be attached to this 3D? Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. And like I was talking about, is like when you're looking through people, you know, I'm a seer, so instantly it's about that connection. And I'm seeing there's this energy that's checked out, because I want to see a soul through the eyes, and I'm not seeing that. And this is where we're coming to the process. There may not be a lot left of what you think is left here.
Are you talking about the people?
Well, some that are people, but some of them are programs. And I'm telling you, people are starting to reside with that they're just programs. And we're trying to normalize it in the way we try to analyze it, but it's a program completely.
Conspiratory says, I just don't know how to be in this world. That's because you're 5D. You're just not matching the frequency anymore. And boy, do I know that feeling well too.
So with this process with things, is like, I'm going to bring up a subject that I have slightly talked about because I've gotten downloads about it. And let me tell you this, the way I describe it, or I go into these tablets, some people are not going to be mad. They're going to be mad because the way that has been presented to me for a long time, and I've had several people that were supposed to be the experts ask me about these several times. And I was told several times where these real tablets are, because they want to put it in a process of like a stone emerald looking
emerald green.
Yeah, and it's not
with writing on it. Yeah,
and they said it's not in the physical realm dimension of what they think it is. And you have this world that tells you they've seen them here and there, and it's been this person's has been around them, and they haven't. The ones that have been around, it's been up here. It's been dreams. It's been downloaded. It has not, because they said there's no way they would allow man to physically have those, because they are the key of the universe. They are not in a compartment that humans can touch.
3D couldn't handle it, that's for sure.
No. And like when I talk to Creator on things, there's just certain things they would never allow man to have access to fully. So it's been a visual of these. People have took those visuals and then copied them and put them down. But, like I said, where's your videos? Where's your pictures? And you can make up anything now. You know that.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
why don't you give the true details of it? You can talk about it. You can write it in books of the Emerald Tablets. You can put anything you want in it. But like I always tell you, documentation. So the thing is, they said that these are in compartments above our realm, which is in the sky. And there are shimmers, like glass plated looking areas that some humans can see and some humans cannot. Okay. So this is the thing. This Emerald Tablet subject keeps you just spinning around. It's like the Bible. There's not a right way. There's not a wrong way. It's just a confusing process on purpose, because they're about knowledge. They're about access. And where's the access? It's right here. It's always been right there. And that's why some people have downloaded these in the mind and some have seen them in these places. But they're telling me it's not reachable for a physical human to touch them.
I don't want to change. We'll be right back on the Emerald Tablets, but I wanted you to answer this. This is a big question for you that I specifically asked that you might like to address. It says, Jenny, can you comment of Yahweh and the 7 archetypes that came down from God? I asked this question as this is an archetype, and I'd like to know more about those 7 that split off from God and their power.
So what I know about Yahweh is the alien energy, and it's hard for them to understand or think that he is
an alien.
Mm-hmm. So it's an alien in the human concept. It's an intelligent being that has a frequency. And also there was a story that talked about how I always got these images of him secluded in a way in the rainforest type of energy and staying in an energy and a frequency. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen, they've showed me Saint Germain. They're not in the public eye. They're in these I would say meditation states, stasis, to be the masters. That's the whole thing about this. So you gotta go back to the gods, the goddesses, these because society.
See, whenever you use the plural of God or goddesses, or even bring that up, that is not acceptable from the Bible standpoint.
Right.
And that's when people go, ah!
Right, exactly.
That can't be right. No, it's wrong.
Right. But the thing is you've got to take what you have learned and put that all aside, because they said, and they told me, the heroes from the past, the gods, the angels, they're all here to witness what was going on. And it has been stepping in these vessels, some of these physical vessels now. So that's why it's getting confusing, because you're sensing an energy in some of these vessels. And then, like I've said it many times, watch Putin, watch Trump, Shepard. What's the other one I was saying the other day? But anyway, there's a couple of them. And you see the 4 corners of the deck clock. And I think I put it in a post. Let me see if I can find that.
Yeah, you did on Facebook.
Yes. Okay. And that's the thing about that. And I said, Be careful what you say about angels. Be very careful, because that's going to come back. And those are a different type of warrior. They're stronger, they're taller, they're bigger, same as giants. So the whole process of that is, that's a complete warrior. When Spirit showed me those, angels are in their own category. They're separate from the aliens and all that stuff, and they're unlimited in their access. Okay, so that's what they always show with them. So this is the thing, is a lot of your Disney movies, a lot of the stuff that they said that was fantasy, you have to go back and understand this. A lot of it wasn't. Hercules, that is a that played on me on that one, and I'm like, it feels so real, and they put it right in your face. So I'm just telling you that when I've had several people ask about the emerald tablets, they're not accessible. They're accessible of the conscience. They are in a compartment that highly accessible conscience can access them, and I guarantee you it's been downloaded. And then again, just making up this type of stone again to put it and implement it, and you, of course, you can't see it clearly, like everything else they try to put out there. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, I swear, so with remote viewers, and I just never thought about like literally downloading it or trying to download a page of it, or successful remote viewers. It's like, if it's in a conscience, you should be able to access it, right? The knowledge of it. Because even in this book, the language of the veil, the light, the conscience, there's a certain form language in the spiritual realm that we all use, and then we're just downloading the information. That's the whole thing about this, is some of the stuff that they have told you, it's not that it's here in a physical place. It's we're accessing it, and they don't want to tell you that. They want to keep you dumbed down. So that's why when I read some of these books on the emerald tablets, I have 2 different process books of that, and as I'm reading, I'm already seeing languages that I've already downloaded as I'm listening to it, So when you get that, you're reading something, and the conscience already is ahead of what it's saying already. So that the whole thing about this is, I believe that the emerald tablets are able to be downloaded. They don't want to tell you that, because it's in a compartment. It's in a spiritual compartment. And this whole chisel-looking stone stuff, that's not what I see. And I think I've talked to you about where I see writings come down, and it's in gold patterns. It's not in...
Oh, yeah. I got a picture of what you're talking about. I can bring up for a minute here. On Thoth, and I think it shows a picture of the emerald tablets at some point. Okay, here's that's Thoth, right?
Right.
Supposedly.
Right.
I guess I should add that.
No, he's on this one too. He's on this page too, right? And that's the thing. They're putting a character in front of you, and then they want you to accept that character, and that's the character is the one that has been chosen for that information. And Spirit's like, no, there's many that can access it. We just haven't looked at the process of doing that. And they haven't thought of it. They wanted to look, they get that physical, concrete item.
It's a way, it's a way of programming you.
It is. And that's what they want to do. Because they don't want you to access. Don't think it's an accessible process to do it the other way. And I've had people, this is what I've said to some people of that's worked, supposed to be in the alien community, that's supposed to be high up on everything. And they asked me about it. And I said, my question is why they have not showed you this information. Why haven't you had access? That means they don't trust you. So that's the thing. It's a trust. You have to be have the trust and the knowledge of the information to not to be bought or sold, to give the knowledge to in a pure manner and not be bought off. And then it's like I said, they already know who has access to that in their purity of the information to give it to the ones that need it. That's the whole thing about this. I mean, the Emerald Tablets, the way they have it is just it's like the Bible, just to confuse you and lead you in a direction that you can't access it. And now you need to understand there are a lot of things you can access through your mindset. You just got to decide to stop.
Who wrote the Book of Thoth? Aleister Crowley's Egyptian style Thoth tarot deck, and it's written description in his 1944 book, The Book of Thoth.
Right.
That should tell you something right there.
Right.
Anyway.
But as the program is put in front of you, and then you're just supposed to accept the program. And that is where I ask a question and I want it presented in the form that they present it in. And that's the thing. I mean, even, okay, here, look, the eye, right? The eye, right? On this one?
Yeah.
It confuses you.
We see that all over
But we have
the
access
place.
here. Right. It just, the whole process is.
It's the pineal gland. It's not, it's the third eye.
Yes, exactly. And that's the whole thing. If you have trust, if you have capability, you can go in that direction and access it. But program has told you, you can't do it. Just saying. So they're in a compartment that is in this realm, but if you want to have access to it, you just have to decide that that's what you're going to reach to. You know what blows my mind? That you have all these remote viewers and no one has tried to even do it.
No one's tried to remote view the Emerald Tablets? Oh my word, I'm surprised. I'll have to
Because they got stuck
Courtney.
into what it is in the physical. It's you can't, it's something that's hidden and only a couple people can access. That's what I'm telling you. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they actually try it. See if they actually get somewhere.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to Courtney Brown.
There is a language
project for Farsight.
Right. Right. So that's the thing. So, but the important part is what they're showing me now is that compartment is being released. What they say about the Emerald Tablets. So the knowledge is there, accessible to access now.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the content is
Accessible.
truthful and accessible and real.
Right. Because it's
benevolent.
about awareness. It's about the veil. It's about accessing the information. How is man going to learn unless you access it yourself?
That's why everybody keeps saying, do the work, go within, and so on. And I have a friend of mine who always is saying, I'm getting so mad at all the white workers. All they ever do is say, just do the work, do the work, do the work. I don't get it. I don't know what the work is. And I know I've said this on other shows too, but I still keep hearing it. And I'm getting to the point where
I'm sick of people saying, oh, we have to wake these certain amount of people up. No, we don't. They've already made their choice.
At this
The ones
point,
that are awake, they're getting more knowledge and they're understanding there's no more knowledge to have here and they want out. Period.
yeah, let's go.
Right. Yeah. So, and that's the thing with these emerald tablets. So there could be, it's not one item, it's a conscience that you can get into, access it. Just like I call it, what I'm able to access is the futuristic library. If you can get into it, you can access it. So they never, whenever I would say the word Akashic records, they're just like, oh no, forget about it. We ain't doing that. So, and with the futuristic library, they show, like when you're reading it and the gold letters come down this way, and it's like it's coming alive, because 5D is about creating instant, spontaneously, quickly, and trusting. So things are changing in that process.
Interesting. Ricardo says, let me show this. Ricardo, I have a vision with Horus and Anubis in a meeting room and saw gold beetle with emblem crystal and Kim and Aztec and Maya's gods and goddesses entering to the pyramids.
Right. So the pyramids are, and I'm not going to tell you they're there, but they're getting to an activation mode with the ley lines. And because they're an important part of that, this whole process. And
the pyramids?
Yes. And then, I had the futuristic pyramids that I believe are on the other side of the ice. And they look like you put your hand through them, they move. And there's like a glass plate, but it has this netting on it and everything too. So, and some of those can move and in a mobile way too. So that's the thing too, is we are dealing with a lot of high technology that's been here for a long time that's surfacing. And I hate the word the normal way. There is no normal way for anything. What is a normal way?
Normal was not a good thing. And going back is not a good thing either. We have to go forward.
Right.
We don't want it back the way it was.
And even in my signal group, you can tell everything's kind of stagnated because everybody in there is awake to a point of waiting for a process. And I call it the door. And it's funny that I've been talking about this door, this energy door, to open up, and I think I saw a couple people talking about a door that's opening, because it's an energy burst and you get on the other side and you're finally like going, oh my God. It's like we're breathing clearly and our whole soul is like in a restful state. We're not there, and that's the whole thing that you're feeling right now. It's not in a restful state. It's in this intense.
It's like you're treading water.
Prick, 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 just like, oh my God. So, and you can do whatever you want. You can drink, you can do whatever. It's not going to take it away. It's not going to take it away. They can do whatever. It's not going to take it away. I don't care if you're in water. There is an energy that's right there. And I said in the last, we talked about the last days, when it comes down to the negativity, that they're going to try to take as many as they can with them. And that's a psychological warfare that breaks you down, gets you irritable, irritated, annoyed by everything. And you're in the process right now with that. And I see it in my groups and stuff too. They're trying to hold this frequency. They're trying to hold this light. They're trying to hold the balance. And they're literally putting your shield up, have the swords on your back, the stones are coming at you, and you're just like exhausted every day. And like, because we're in a Groundhog Day effect over and over and over, and we're like,
when are we getting out? Are we getting out of this anytime soon?
Well, I'm waiting, and I'm not saying the word because I'm waiting for this burst of energy. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm waiting for, that door to open. And it's, if anybody's been doing spiritual work, they understand once you've gotten through a process, and after you've ran that marathon and you get on the other side, you're like, I'm not going to get up for a day because of just to get through it. And probably realize that your soul has gotten through it. That's the thing. So no one wants to explain what you're going through, in detail. They just want you to just say, well, it's a process. No, it's a hard process. And it's annoying and disturbing. And just like I want to go outside and look at the stars, and I don't feel the same way about it. And you can't force something that's not there. It's changed. So there's no relief. See, this is what we're looking for, is that certain energy of relief. Yeah. And it is bothering people. And there's nowhere to hide from it. They've got to go through it. So here we go back to, we're in this time that we're supposed to be here, go through this. And I think when I get on the other side, I am going to be looking for certain spiritual energies going, what the fuck? What were you thinking?
Exactly.
And but we won't understand the value until we're through it. Right now, we're like, no, we don't want to do this.
That's like when something happens that seems very negative when it first happens. And then down the road, you go, oh my God, I'm so glad that happened. But at the time, it was like a nightmare. Like, oh my God, how can this be?
Right.
This is the worst thing ever. And then you get through it. And then you look back and you go, oh my God, I that needed to happen. So
let me tell you, a lot of people, if they could just go pack their bags right now and go find the rainforest and sit in there, we are at that point. Or we can find the highest mountain and stay up there and not see anybody. We would be fine, because we're at that point where we think that's what's going to work.
So I find myself going out in nature far more, as frequently as I possibly can, because it brings me the peace that I need.
I can't imagine, and I'm glad I don't live in a big city, sitting in traffic.
Oh my God. It's bad being in an apartment too, because you're dealing with energy from all the people in an apartment building. There's a lot of people.
Right.
So those energies intermesh.
Right. And I have a friend that's in Illinois.
I wish I could be in a house, believe me.
And she's in an apartment, and she's dealing with it hard time. She's just like, anybody she talks to or anything, when you're awake and you're sitting in the midst of everybody, and they're not seeing the veil, and then being in a city, I think I actually have 3 people in Chicago. They're dealing with that energy there. And it's hard.
I bet it is. Yeah.
They don't want to leave.
It's bad enough here.
It's almost not wanting to make eye contact with anybody. Honestly, because you're going to be disappointed when you look at the person's soul.
Empty eyes.
Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. I've seen many of those in courts. Anyway, Sherry has to say, I thought we should bring this. She said, I read info about him, and I read the Emerald Tablets many years ago. It was so confusing. He travels to the underworld. Isn't that just what they want? Just like the Bible's confusing. Right. There were things in the Bible that I questioned as a kid.
Right. And that's why I said go through the door, which I teach in class, go through the door and access it. Stop acting like someone else is in charge of have the accessibility. If you've done the work, that's the whole thing about it. You know, and they get so caught up in the physical of what it needs to be physically, you know, on that process. Even, I mean, looking at gold, and as they show me as gold particles come down and how it's beneath our feet, it's in the air, it comes from the mountains, it's everywhere. It's part of what upgrades us and the crystalline and everything. So when I got to tell you, after everybody finds out how they have lied to you
about everything,
so many people pissed off that
I'm surprised we don't see more pissed off already, to tell you the truth, because it's the more I see, the more I go, oh my, it just doesn't quit. Every single thing.
Right.
And like you said, we have to be able to put it aside in order to let new information in that has a much higher frequency, because it's the truth.
Right.
And you know what? I was wondering, because truth has a frequency, and we have been living in a world that is full of lies, like swimming in a sea of lies.
Right.
And now we're getting bombarded with truths.
Right.
And so that's where that mixed up energy is. And we resonate with the truth, but we still are getting bombarded with some of this other negative stuff that is stuck in us in some ways, because we're so programmed and conditioned by it that it's hard to shed it.
Right. And so the thing is, that's why I'll tell you what I was doing today that was really neat, and I've noticed this, and everybody can use this. So when you take a black mask, it's sealed up like this. I notice I'm doing meditation now, or when I'm doing something, and I keep it on longer, this world is starting to feel disconnected in a different way. Like it's expanding and it's stretching out. So in the darkness, you know, because you're letting the mind go of the reality here, and I notice that it's going further away faster. Reality is losing it quicker. So I was noticing that today when I was talking to one of my clients, and I was just like, something's changed. It's not holding a grip onto like it has, like a netting around you on your conscience anymore. It's so once you put your conscience in a direction, and if it's in this dark process, it's losing fear and losing concept, which is good, because then I noticed there's a space in there that you have relief from this stuff today.
Interesting. Somebody said, Murray said something. I read his daughter is connected to the E Island. I don't know if you're not talking about off, are you? Who could you be talking about? I don't know who you're talking about, Murray. You might want to explain that. And then Guri Miller says, this is crazy. Your voice is very scratchy and annoying. Can muffle your mic. I'm sorry, but we're not in a professional studio, so deal with it. I mean, God. I don't know. That's just sometimes I just can't.
Okay, so go on.
Here, listen. Here's one. I didn't know that necessarily is true. Why is there more sightings of UFOs in the USA than anywhere else in the world? Is that? I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot down in Mexico I've heard and seen, and I think it's just, you know why? Because the public can't hide it no more in the United States anymore. And it's being seen everywhere, and so you're just seeing a lot more activity because now it's being common knowledge. You can look at it every day now and see that it's happening. You can feel it. You feel it above you.
Here's another one mentioning, I guess it's the 2-world split we heard about that we're living through now.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yep. Okay, here's another. Mathis says, Jenny, how do we know the Saturn moon soul trap that supposedly has been dismantled actually has been? Maybe we are told this as a psyop. It's been up and running for thousands of years, correct?
Right. So this is the thing, and I've got an answer for this. So when any process of a light, there's two different beams of light when you go through this process, okay? So there's that bright light that everybody gets sucked into, and then there's this yellow warmness that's further back they showed me. So don't always take the bait that's right in front of you. But here's an illusion. Let's go with this one right away. Back up. I tell people in the spiritual classes to always sit back, observe for a while first, and then make a choice on it, okay? And go by a feeling. Don't go following the sheep, because they're following the process too. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the sun that you feel, this, more of a whiteness around the sun, and I'm like, this isn't the real one. You can feel that. That energy's the warmness with it. It feels like coating of comfort. It's not with the sun. I don't feel it. That's why I'm not drawn to go outside and bask in the way I used to. It's changed. So I feel like this mantling of it has to do with our conscience of what we're believing now.
Are we not still getting light coats from the sun?
I don't feel so, because I don't think this is the original sun. I think that one's gone. I think it's been gone a while, and I used to feel this certain energy, and usually with that, I went and looked at it today, and I'm like, that's not the same one.
Well, it's putting out a lot of heat, it seems.
Well, it put a lot of heat, but I'm just telling you, nature's probably telling you that that's not the real sun, too. Mm-hmm. I'd be looking at nature telling you something's wrong, because animals bask in it. Nature basks in it. Things grow differently in it. I'm not feeling it.
Interesting. Okay. Kevin is saying the book Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, A Beginner's Guide by Billy Carson is a good place to start. He relies on Dr. Dorso's transcription of the tablets. That means that person would have got downloads.
Right. So
to have that information.
Right.
And whether or not it's accurate or truthful is subject to
question. But I like Billy Carson. I do like him, and I like some, not all his information, but there's some things. So I would say go look, feel the instinct on it, feel with the download. This is the thing. There's a common language with the spiritual language, how they describe things, and then it's been in many stuff that I download, and I saw it in this book with the Emerald Tablets, So it's a understanding of a spiritual language, and you're going to be looking for those words. You're not going to be looking for common words. And you see them in prophets, you see them in seers, you see them in people that do predictions. There's the knowing language that when you're hearing it, that it resides with the truth. It's not commercializing you. Pay attention to that, how it feels.
It resonates with you.
Right.
I mean, it just...
There's a trueness.
I like Billy Carson too.
Yeah.
I haven't done a whole lot of them, but what I did see, I did like. And he does a lot on the Anunnaki too. Let's see. Monica says here, CDT plates, the original before the Emerald Tablets, those are a level above in the K. I don't know what that is. Monica, you'd need to explain that a little more for us to know. Tim Potter, I often ask the creator to help us. I do too.
Right.
I do too. Oh, I'm going to share something, if you don't mind. It's real quick and easy, but there was a little saying that Tesla would do every day. And he would, I know he circled his buildings like 3 times. He did these things, he used 369. But anyway, this is what he did. He'd say this 3 times in the morning, 6 times later, and then 9 times. So a total of 18 times altogether. And it's, this is what it is. I am a radiant being of light, perfectly aligned with the infinite source of the universe, vibrating with love, peace, and harmony.
Good. That's a good one.
Yeah, I really like it. And then you say that 3 times, and then you say it again 6 times, and then you say it again 9 times. I think it has an effect on you. I really do.
And I just started an instant one with, like I always say, staying in the light, be guided by the light, focus on the light, get the answers in the light. You know, that's the whole process.
I'm sorry, is it my phone? I'm sorry.
So, I mean, that's the thing. Knowledge resides in the light. And then that trueness that you get, that core of the truth, it resides with the soul. So that's the whole thing. That's why when people can read something to you and it doesn't reside, because it's not residing with the trueness of it. Those words carry the vibrations of the tones of the truth. That's what you got to pay attention, tones and vibration.
I'm sorry, I have to answer this.
So, on this pattern 2, we can kind of go back to California. And I want to talk about California because I said that that's like a big pit. Layers of demonic cities underneath the ground in that area. They have not changed that. It's like a skyscraper that's underground in layers. And it's going to look like something from Oklahoma bombing when it opens up, like a side of a building, and you just see a destruction in layers.
In California? You're talking about in LA?
Yeah, when that land shifts and the plates move and it cracks. Remember I told you about this this redness that I see, how it cracks and opens, and there it's going to be precisely in that target area, you know. And
what's the target area, Jenny?
It's a Satanist.
Oh, okay.
Pit.
Hollywood?
They call it pit. I kept calling it pit area. And like looking down at a cliff going, oh, that's bad. You know, but people are driving over it every day. They're probably noticing the energy, you know, of something different. I mean, let me tell you, I've gone to LA, and I just feel like when I did, I just couldn't.
I can't stand the big cities.
I couldn't reside with that energy at all. There's a reason why it's called the Lost Souls. There's a reason for that. So I'm thinking about doing a drawing on those levels, what they're showing of that dismantling process of California, of that one area. And I showed you the divide of it. It's separating and going out to sea and leaking.
This isn't the whole state of California, though.
No,
right?
it's the
LA
pit,
area.
yes,
Or Hollywood.
Yes.
Hollywood area.
Yeah. And that is something that you're going to see when you feel nature, this world, actually targeting the most evil area that you can.
Nature itself. Kind of like in the movie Avatar.
Right.
I love it.
Taking it down. But it has to leave an impression of understanding of what has been evolved in that situation. So it's a sense of knowing that Many have been warned but they decide to ignore it. And when you ignore what is going on underground in a process like that, you are the problem too. They're the problem for
It's like being complicit in yeah. Like well, this maybe isn't the best scenario, but like the good cop, bad cop kind of thing, in that if you see a bad cop doing something and the good cop doesn't do anything, then he's not really a good cop because he's complicit.
Right. And the whole thing is like, the thing that I try to get people to understand, the carnage that I pick up in a process like that on the spiritual side, the carnage that I picked up when you saw what was going on in New York at the time that Trump put those tents up and everything. My ear's going off right now, because before anybody said anything, before anybody knew anything, they were showing me, they're saying, Jen, it's bad enough what they've done, but those, when you die and you're a child that had to die, then you have, after your death, had to protect your soul. And they said that this is what I got spiritually, that so some of those souls of those children had to hide in the walls. You know what I'm saying?
Their soul? Like when their soul leaves their body after they
right,
die?
because, okay, you
like
die physically, and you imagine that they knew what they were doing with the soul, and the children had enough intuition to know that when we pass on, we can't just go up, because they'll take us.
Snag you.
We went into the walls. That's what they showed. When they showed me they went into the walls, and I went on a big voyage of this process before anybody was talking about this. And I saw this native circle that they said, I had to have, 6, 7 spirits. And I've done this on stuff that is invested in time, keeping a spirit down, to contain it. And so there's 6 points of, you got 2 in the back, 3 in the center, 2 more in the front, and 1 at the point. And it protects those souls so they can go up. And that was a process that they showed me had to be done. So when they showed me that, and I got confirmation, because I had a situation, and there's no way that this girl knew what I was doing, was told to do. There was a 2-year adventure on finding these natives. And she said to me, I seen you down here. I saw you, and I seen what you have been doing. And she
This is a child.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and it was a nurse that had an intuition on the stuff, and that's where. So the thing is it's not only just a freedom of the body, it's a freedom of the spirit to be free too, to contain the spirit along with the child, and not have the spirit free, because that is the value. That was heart-wrenching. And that's why it annoys me. It bothers me when I see stuff like that I know it's going on before anybody knows. And then that's that innocence. It's not just of the body, it's of the spirit, what they took away. It's hard.
Well, to think that they can capture the soul and put it into another physical body in and of itself is bizarre.
Right. So that is one of those things that when they started in New York, as they had me looking for these natives for 2 years. I was like, okay, 2 years, and then they said it's like a diamond, positioning to allow these vessels to go up to the light, and then that light, as I call, would come down in a group and assist
Wow.
Feel the energy, assist, and take them up holding their hands because of the carnage that they've gone through. You have to understand the trust they didn't have. And the only way they would
Small
get
wonder.
that
Yeah.
is the warmth of the light, because that is something that's hard to resist within each soul.
Wow.
And so it's hard. And then when they understand and that veil of that understanding comes to the light, I don't know how these people that knew and had the knowledge of this could turn, except that they were completely submerged in the demonic.
I know. It's absolutely heart-wrenching what they did to children. I mean, I can't even think about it too much because it makes me cry.
Forgive that.
No, neither can I. No way.
Allow that, because of hearing the cries in my head, hearing the energy in my perception of the pain.
Yes. Yes, I've seen pictures that made me cry. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
horrific. Wait till people find out. So many people are still unaware, or they just don't want to hear it because they don't want to believe it.
Right.
Well, you're going to have to hear it, and you're going to have to believe it because it's real and it happened and it's wrong and it needs to stop. And by looking away and pretending it doesn't exist or it's not there, you're being complicit.
Yeah. I had one that looked like something off The Conjuring. There was a child that was at a house, and it was a woman that she was containing the soul, and I was just like, you can't do that. You can't do that. But when I helped it move on, I actually felt my back just like on fire, because you have to understand they invest time and energy into holding and containing that soul, and something that dark is pissed when it's taken away from them. It's not easy.
Wow. So it was like it was punishing you.
Trying.
To feel the burn, or trying to, yeah. I put up the comment by Lenore because I think it's really a great thing to do. She said that she asked Creator to increase everyone's life force and bring back everyone's authenticity. I think that's pretty cool. I like that.
Right.
Then I have another question for you here. It says, do you feel that the timeline split is happening very soon between 3D and 5D? And if so, within a week, can you comment on the convergence versus the bifurcation?
Do you feel the timeline split has happened between your 3D and 5D? I already feel like it has happened.
It's already happened, yeah.
Yeah, the week cannot comment. You're already feeling it. You already know it. You already know you're not connected. You want to ask people? You used to see the people in my group. They don't want to do nothing. They want to go out. They want to deal with them. They're just like, get me off this plane. They already know. We already know. It's a knowing. It's already confirmed within you.
Mathis has a comment. ETJ, my entire life has been hijacked. The first thing I'm doing over there is going to kick somebody's ass because I know I did not ask for this shit. No freaking way. It's been a nightmare. No, you won't. By the time that, actually, I mean, that's you comment on that. That's your deal.
Kick your ass. I do not ask for the shit. Well, I never asked for it. Some of us really didn't have a choice, and just got thrown in the situation, and I mean literally. So I have, and as I say, I have questions when I get on the other side.
Don't we all? But at the same time, there was a clarion call put out by Gaia for basically starseeds to come and help the planet. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us volunteered. Maybe we didn't know what we were really getting into at the time. But having that warrior spirit and that desire to, strong desire to help,
Right.
we said, okay, we'll go. I'll go. And then we get here and go, oh my God, what did I get myself into?
Right. So, I mean, it's a whole process of doing it, completing it, developing it. So, I mean, it's so hard to describe sometimes because some of us as children were isolated on the reality when we first started here, and we were our mind was already set in another energy, paying attention to that. And I how do I explain this? My soul's exhausted because I've been doing this since day one. And now we're at the end of it. And I just think, God, I just want an island with animals and quietness for
Beautiful
decades after
nature. And
yeah. So
oh, I yearn for that myself too. I am calls, as the ocean calls me all the time. I can relate to that very much. So I am water. I always feel better when I'm near water.
Right. So the thing is, I already believe the sorrow. I can feel it. I wouldn't say that unless I feel it. We're already in a perception of that. It's just people are worried about it coming. I think it's here, and it's not when the money's there, because within 5-10 minutes after that's there, what's your focus is what's next. Your whole life changes on what you need to do from here out. Some will do diligent by what they need to do, and some may not think that that's important, and there's some out there that won't. So so it's something to think about after, but it's because I think it's going to happen so fast, and then to catch up to that point, people mad rush to see how they can assist if their well-being is taken care of, and everything they need, and how they're going to give. I'd love to go back to just living in villages again. I just think that's great. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Well, most of us thought the sleepers would have followed along a bit more by now. I think the ones that are like you were saying earlier, the ones that are awake are just expanding their consciousness more and more all the time. Some people just refuse to wake up. They don't. They're just not ready.
Well, right. I mean, and that's the thing. There's ways that in these last process of these 3D where and people won't talk about this, but there's times that they try to take you down, they try to take you out, they try to bring you to a point that you give up on the light. We all have been tested in that.
Yeah, and you and I both know they use family members to get to you.
God, it's bad.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Right.
Kevin, I put that up there. I meant to say it first. The Bible is a collection of highly edited stories that no one truly knows who wrote, and they were all not written at the time. At all.
And I think what I read on that is who has the rights to it was Elizabeth, our queen.
What?
Was the rights to the Bible, right? Isn't that funny?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Well, that figures right there.
That's going to be a real hard one for people. The religion thing is a real stickler that's done a great deal of damage, and people cling to it very, very extensively, and you know,
Right.
just because I say that doesn't mean that
Well,
I'm
the
not
thing is like when
totally
it's,
spiritual and connected to the infinite source of the universe, because I am.
so the
But
floodgates of when the money system comes in, and the next 24 hours after that would be those medical beds coming out. Not even medical, but high technology beds would be within.
med beds. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't like
Or
that word though.
celestial chambers. How's
Yeah,
that?
high frequency. But yeah, that would be next,
High frequency chambers. That would work. Okay.
and costing nothing in that process. So
Okay. This question's for you, Jenny. The I am says, so it's not good to be under the sun if it's not the real sun. No more vitamin D.
I think you should take vitamin D, but I'm not feeling the sun is the sun. I'm sorry to tell you, I don't feel it. Don't feel this.
Interesting.
I want you to pay attention. Do you see cats basking in the sun these days? I see birds hiding in the shadows. Animals bask in the sun. You're not seeing that.
Well, sometimes my dog lays out in the sun, but I think I know what you mean, though. I sensed a little bit of something different myself. Like, yeah, it's putting out a lot of heat, but it's not. It has a different feel to it. So
it does. So that's the thing is we're close to something, and I feel like you're going to see some of the good actors and actresses appear that did not sign on with the negative side, and I think they're going to be very happy to be reappeared, and I'm hoping that they all step off a white bus, all of them together as a collective, and start to look for that coming. That when those people feel safe enough to appear and they're showing themselves again, that tells you a lot is done.
Oh, here we got another question for you. And I haven't read enough about Billy Carson to know. And Murray was bringing up the fact that somebody who was charged with sexual assault over 30 years ago was discharged. So it didn't go away. Okay, so next one. Carson believed Enki is the good Anunnaki, but that's wrong, right, Jenny?
Fuck Enki.
And I say the Anunnaki in general have not been our friends.
Enki and Lil and Ennis. I know you can go into the Ennis thing. Ennis, then go look up that one. So no, none of them. None of them.
They're slavers of humanity. Both of them. All of them.
Well, what Creator calls them is a prostitutes of the universe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love his sense of humor. So, guess we've straightened that out. Ismail says Enki's rotten, but Enlil is, he's no good either. None of them. They're all slavers. They were not a friend of humanity. They pretend to be your friend, but they're not. They want you to worship them.
So that's why I feel bad for Zeus sometimes. Can you imagine having his job and dealing with all those gods and the pain in the ass that they are? Just saying.
Oh, really?
I wouldn't want that job. So yeah, it's not a good process to deal with. So
okay, here's something for you too. Also, if the moon is not real, why then do people still moonbathe their crystals?
I have no idea. That's
what they were programmed to do. There we go.
Well, the thing is, usually with the sun and with the moon, they tell me go outside and they'll go out. I mean, I have had hundreds of pictures when they are, it's the right energy. The spirit has a way of showing themselves in that. And I have not took any pictures of that in the last 6 to 8 months because it's not there. So yeah, it's a different energy.
Okay, I lost my place on the questions here, so I try to put people's questions up, but let me see if I can come back and find where I left off. So if I miss your question, I can't help it. Let's see. Well, this one is about, we know, this is just stating a fact, really. Jenny, when are the satanic sites going to be taken out? Getty Museum, Hollywood, there are like 37 major ones targeted.
So
right?
when the power goes to certain rolling areas, they will unplug them. They will not be back on. Even processes on these channels, corporations, companies, all of it. They're not, this is the thing. They already know who's going down. Even, you know what's funny is they know they're going down. Because at the end, like I said, you either serve the light or you serve the dark. And when you know you serve the dark, you're going to be dismantled.
And rightly so, I might add.
Right.
Okay, let's see, what's next? Well, this is kind of true. A statement. London's den has become a nightmare. The globalists have flooded the western cities with hate-filled migrants. Yeah, that was part of their plan, but yeah, that's not going to work.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Okay. What's this one say? Kevin says, I like the world they created in Avatar. It'd be nice to live in a world like that without the non-locals going around and crapping on everything. Okay.
I've got Oregon right now. Oh my God.
Yeah, she says San Francisco has weird energy. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I was in San Francisco once, and the thing that I remember the most, there's a reason why they call it the Hills of San Francisco, because you're going up and down all the time.
So yeah, I think this week, like I said, those are what you need to be paying attention to. And another thing is the red ruby. And I keep, because I did I forget the channel stuff at night, so I did these lion's paws sitting over a gold chair. In the middle of the gold chair is the red energy. And it's sort of circle motion. And then it has the gold and it has the key at the bottom. So that's still, it's going to stretch out like this. So I'm waiting for it to cover the skies in that redness. That energy is connected to the Pleiadians. That's where I got the information. That's when I presented the ruby. It is from them. So they all want to know about that. That's where it comes from. So, and that is not going away. And then
it's a positive thing, right?
Right. And then over by, they show a process like Arizona. So be paying attention where you're at.
Oh, I know. It's a corrupt city. The entire state.
So these different colors in the sky, so that red is dominant in the process that it has to happen. And then I talked about the plates. So at some point, our world's going to be a sprout of energy going up like a fountain. So that's what they're showing. So that's part of the process. So this is when the money is funded. Okay, I want you to understand, I want you guys to remember this. I said at the very second that the money is funded, there's an energy that shifts when everybody knows that's completion. That changes the energy on Earth instantly. That gives a relief, that gives a energy of letting go. Okay, that alone changes the atmosphere.
It would, because if you think about how stressed out people get about having to pay for stuff, for example.
Right, but it would change it spontaneously and instantly.
Wow, I didn't think of it happening that quickly, but that's really cool. I like that.
Instant. It would be instantly.
It's not far away then. It's not far away from what I'm seeing.
No.
But nobody can give an exact date or time, so don't even ask.
Okay. So that's, that's kind of what I have. And then, so there's a lot of people, like I said, that they are confused by things and they're reaching out and talking about this stuff. So, so people's intuition is kicking in like never seen before. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Anna's asking if we could do a group meditation with the angels to help these children and spirits return home to the light. Maybe.
I mean, it can happen. I'd have to. I kind of have. It can. It's just she'll have to reach out to me. I'm not gonna extend on that right now.
Yeah, we're not. I'd like to be a little more prepared for that. So maybe at another session. So moving right along, let me see some other things. Question here is: Do souls get stuck? Now, my brother, murdered in '84, kept telling my mother afterwards to look at the wall. I bet this is why. I know his spirit was stuck, as assisted his soul later on.
Right.
Wow.
Exactly.
Good job, Teresa. Okay. Wow.
Well,
okay.
Well, we've been on an hour and a half already, so.
Okay. Yeah, we're almost through all the questions anyway. So we'll have to, we do have to stop. Otherwise, I can't run this show a second time is what happens. Right. And I like to be able to do that.
Well, they know how to reach out to me and ask questions and set up sessions and meditations and all that stuff. So it'll be good right now.
Alrighty then. So thank you everyone for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It helps the algorithms because I am shadow banned. And if you find it in your heart to help, I would greatly appreciate it in any manner, shape, or form. I haven't been out much because I've been having some difficult issues to deal with. So anyway, thank you again for being here. Thank you, Jenny, for your time and energy. And we will be on again soon. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Good night.
Found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are, and like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers. Stronger than ever. Never say never. Don't look back now. Don't look back now. Destiny